We all know that renting is a smarter decision than buying a house. But why do we all still feel this deep, almost desperate need to own a house? Everyone has this need. Even the financial gurus have this need. Even I feel this need. This is not another rent versus buy video. Today we'll discuss the psychological reasons behind this desperate need of owning a house and how some of these reasons can suffocate you without you even realizing it. At the most basic level, the need to own a house is completely valid and real. We need shelter, we need a place to sleep, to cook, and maybe we also need a balcony or a garden to breathe. So we need a house for physical security. But the problem arises when we move from physical security to psychological security. Most of us believe that buying a house will give us security, and at the surface level, it feels that way. But is it really true? I have seen people living in houses worth 10 crores and yet they are terrified about the future. So clearly, the house did not solve for that. It never really does. True security comes from within, not from the walls around you. Now, picture this for a moment. Someone in your friend group quietly buys stocks worth 5 crore rupees. No one congratulates him, nobody throws a party, and nobody calls up his father to congratulate him. But if someone buys a house worth 2 crores, that too on a loan, everybody starts congratulating them. Suddenly they are respected, suddenly they are settled, and suddenly they have arrived. But why does this happen? This happens because in our society, a house is not just a house. It is a proof that you are stable, that you are responsible, and that you are settled. We think that we buy a house for security. But the real reason for which we buy a house is appreciation. Appreciation from your peers, appreciation from your parents, appreciation from your partner, and appreciation from your relatives. Now, this video is not against buying a house. If you have the money, you should definitely go out and buy a house, even if you lose on the rent versus buy debate. But if you are buying a house while taking a 20-30 year loan and tying yourself up to an EMI, this video is largely against that logic. Because when you do this, the high that you get from the appreciation, it usually fades away within 2 years or within 5 years at max. But one thing that stays is your EMI, and it stays with you for the next 30 years of your life. Let's imagine a scenario. Suppose you are in your late 20s, you earn somewhere around 80,000 a month and you are about to get married. Now, you have a subconscious pressure of buying a house. You need to show your partner and your family that you are settled. So you end up taking a 20-year loan with an EMI of 55,000 rupees. Now, if you are genuinely happy with your job, you like the work that you are doing, you like the city that you live in, you should definitely go ahead with this decision. Even if you lose slightly on the rent versus buy debate financially, emotionally and practically, this decision makes complete sense for you. You are buying the house for yourself, but if you are still not happy with the work you are doing or the city that you live in, and you are buying the house just because your in-laws need reassurance or your parents want to feel proud about you, or maybe because everyone around you, your peers are buying houses, then this might be the most damaging decisions that you can take in your life. Let's look at a few trade-offs. You bought the house under social pressure and 6 months later, you discover a deep desire in something completely different. For example, script writing or design. Now, with a 55,000 EMI sword hanging over your head, you will never be able to explore this desire. You will suppress your curiosity, stay in a safe job, and slowly you will start resenting your life. Now, if you were living on rent and you truly loved this new path, you would not have minded moving to a smaller place where you would have been paying a smaller rent. Your heart would have given you the courage to do so. EMI basically takes this courage away. Another example that we can consider is that you get a really good opportunity, especially from a company which you really like, but it's in another city. Your parents and partner felt really proud when you bought that house, but that same house has now tied you down to one particular city. Now you cannot take that job because you are tied down to this city. And at some point, you will start resenting the very people that you are trying to impress. You will start resenting your parents and your partner who you were trying to impress in the first place. Not because they have done something wrong or they are bad, but just because you took permanent decisions based on temporary social pressure. So rather than just looking at the financial angle, we should also look at angles where buying a house can suffocate you emotionally and psychologically. Before you get a loan, you can ask yourself a few questions which will help you decide. The first question can be that would I ever buy this house if no one in my family or in my friend circle ever got to know about it? The second question can be that am I happy enough in my current job and in my current city to commit for the next 20 years of my life? And the third question can be that am I buying this house because I genuinely want it, or am I buying it because according to the society I think I should be buying it right now? If your honest answer is discomforting you, that discomfort is telling you something. Don't ignore it. So if you can buy a house without a loan or a very small loan, you should definitely go and buy it. But if you are taking a 20-year EMI, make sure that you are buying it for yourself. Not for your in-laws, not for your parents, not for your peers, but just for yourself. Because when you trade your independence and risk appetite for temporary social status, it can cost you far more than money. It can cost you a life that you could have lived. So keep renting until the need comes from within, and buy a house because you can, not because people expect you to. Thanks for listening.